Hey, what's up everyone? This is William McCann over here, about to show y'all a new tutorial how to set up a favorite emulator of mine that I am now loving to use just for a lot of fun gaming. Now this emulator tutorial that I'm going to show you how to set up is called ePSXe. Yep, the emulator is called ePSXe. Now, I told y'all in part 1 of my Twisted Metal PS1 comedy gameplay that I got this app from emulatorgames.net, which I will provide a link below as y'all are watching this video, so y'all will know about how to get everything working for this emulator. It's really easy to do. Alright, now I'm going to pull up the directions so I can explain about some things to y'all and what 2 apps that y'all have to have. Yeah, 2 apps. I mean 3 apps that y'all have to have for this tutorial. Actually, just to think of it, I'm going to go to Google Play so I can show y'all what apps to get first. Alright, the first app on the list is the actual emulator itself, called ePSXe for Android. You can get that from the link that I'm going to show y'all how to do. Well, I mean, y'all can get this emulator from the link that I'll have in the description, so y'all don't have to worry about having to buy this emulator. Alright. The next emulator, the next app on the list is called 7-Zipper. This is a really easy app to use. So download this. And there's one more app that I'm going to show y'all that y'all have to get. Now, this is the Android version of WinRAR. Y'all guys do not know this already. That's why I had this app for like 4 or so months now, which was since I first got this tablet of mine. So yeah. Okay, now just search up RAR. Oh yeah, search this up, then install it. After y'all done with that, click on this second link that I'll have. Well, Well, I mean, click that second link that I have under the description right now, which is for the instructions on how to set up the ePSXe emulator, which is really easy to do, of course. Alright, now I'm going to head to the website for the emulator so I can explain about some stuff to y'all. So y'all can understand about the instructions from there better. Now, what I will do that's recommended for y'all to do is to keep the link for the setup guide for the ePSXe emulator. So just bookmark that on y'all's browser, just so y'all will be able to go back to it anytime when y'all need it. Just like what I did right here. Alright, y'all guys, now step 1 says configure the PSX BIOS, which is the SCPH 1001 or SCPH 7502 file. Be right back, y'all guys. Alright everyone, I'm back. Okay, now let's get the rest of this tutorial done and over with. Just 2 or so minutes. Okay, now it says first you need a PSX BIOS, which is a file that's copyrighted by Sony. It is a 512 kilobyte file called SCPH 1001.bin or SCPH 7502.bin. All the other BIOS are supported with this emulator, but both of those files are the most common used in the emulator. That's what they're saying right there. And that's just what I went by to be able to get the BIOS. Now I'm going to tell y'all about what the third link in the description is for in just a second. That says you can get it searching on Google Chrome. After downloading and uncompressing, if it would be in zip, 7Z or RAR format, click on the Run BIOS button. The first time ePSXe will scan your SD card to find the path where it where it was saved, and it will auto-configure the path on preferences. If it doesn't find the BIOS, you can go to Preferences, BIOS, and choose Right Path. If the BIOS was properly installed, you tap on Run BIOS button, and you'll see some screens that are similar to the included ones in the previous screenshot, which are these pictures on this webpage right here. Now the screenshot they're referring to for the BIOS when it starts up is the one that's by the one that says BIOS configured on the right of it. That's the one that says Sony Computer Entertainment. Okay, now the first link for where you can get the BIOS from is a link that I got from Internet Archive, which is a page that somebody had made of almost all of the PS1 BIOS files, but there are plenty of them that will help you get the um, emulator set up just like that. Now this person has put that page out on Internet Archive just before Amy Paradise was shut down for the free ROM downloads thing. Also for the console BIOS file downloads they can get from there for different emulators. So just click on that third link in the description right there and get a BIOS file for the emulator. Now after you have uncompressed it using WinRAR, which is the Android, after you have Alright everyone, now after you have after you have uncompressed it using RAR, which is the Android version for WinRAR, then go ahead and take that BIOS file out of there, which will be in a .bin format. Don't keep all the other files that came with that, including the .zip. Just delete those in WinRAR. And in that same app, move it to your downloads folder. That's how I did it, and I was able to run the BIOS just like that by pressing the button that says Run BIOS, which is one of the buttons for the ePSXe emulator itself. Okay, now, yo, guys. Now, after y'all have done that, please, well, I mean, just click on one of those links that are out of the last two that I have in the description to download ROM files of any game that you want that's on the PS1, which is also known as the PSX. After y'all done that, keep in your my download folder. Now, depending on what file format the ROM download is in, depending on what kind of file format the ROM download is in, you'll have to use one of those two file uncompressing apps just for that, which is 7-zip or RAR. Now, if the file format is in RAR, use one RAR to uncompress it in your downloads folder, then delete the zip file, all the other files that you don't need for the uncompressed folder, but do not delete the folder that it just made as the name of the game itself. It won't be in a format, it'll just be in a regular folder. Take that folder and move it over to a new folder that you'll have to create in your internal internal storage or your SD card, doesn't matter which. And just move that over to there. Now all the files that are in the games folder itself will have to be in the .bin format. Because if it is not in because if it is not in the .bin format, it will not run the game. Keep that in mind, just to make sure that all your files for the game is in the .bin format. If it is, then that's good news. After that, just go into ePSXe, then make sure that your BIOS is working by running the BIOS. After that, press the back button on your mobile device to get out of the BIOS itself. Now the button you'll have to press to get out of the BIOS is called Yes Quit Game. Click on that and it will take you back to the main page of the emulator itself. Alright, so after that, after you have made sure that the BIOS is working just like that, click on Run Game, and it will scan all of the available folders and other places that all of your PS1 games can be in, which it literally scans both your internal storage and your SD card. So yeah. Then after it has detected that game of yours, which it will detect automatically as long as all of the files in the folder are in a .bin format, then just click on Run Game. After that, you are done with this tutorial. Thank you for watching this tutorial of mine and listening to everything what I have to say for this tutorial. And I'll see y'all next time for another tutorial. Try to set up another emulator, which will be the Rycast emulator. That's the only Dreamcast emulator that I can run on this tablet of mine, so this will be an easy tutorial for y'all to follow.